Hi everyone, my name is Atwaide Christine from the University of Lille, and today we shall look at explore the Adidas journey, how it evolved from a small brand to a global powerhouse. This presentation shall look at the transition of Adidas from its grassroots origins to the worldwide influence and how the brand successfully balanced local identity and global expansion. Through this journey, we shall see how strategic growth enabled Adidas to remain relevant, to remain innovative and competitive across all markets. All right, let's kick it starting. We shall look at the video that will summarize most of the 4 categories. In this video, we shall be shedding our focus Adidas, probably the most renowned revealed name in the sports footwear and clothing. However competitive the athletic wear industry has become, Adidas has maintained itself in the scene, being fierce competitors to companies like New Balance and Nike, give diverse strategies in maintaining and attracting new customers to the brand when poor companies are struggling. One standout factor that played a vital role in the brand's success is its eye-catching unique design, evident in the products. We shall be taking a trip down memory lane, digging into Adidas's origin history and Adidas as a global, local, and global brand. Let's take a step back and go to the humble beginning of this present-day sporting giant. On the back of the World War II, with German fresh from humiliation of the Treaty of Versailles, a young boy who had served from the German army during the war came back home to the town Herzogenbuch, located in Bavarian district of Germany. Planning on starting a business, Adolf Dassler had initially planned on starting a bakery, but eventually started a shoe factory out of his mother's laundry room. Finally, a successful company story, not starting out of a garage. A few years later, his older brother Rudolf Dassler joined the company, and the shoe factory was named Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory, catchy name. Apparently, the electricity supply in their town was so unreliable that the brothers had to use pedal power from the stationary bicycle to get their machines running at the very inception of the company itself. Adolf might have just revolutionized sporting footwear and running spikes when he replaced the heavy metal spikes put in the shoes with canvas and rubber spikes. They got their big great when Adolf Dassler traveled to Berlin for the 1936 Olympics and managed to convince American athlete Jesse Owens to wear his company's shoes. The Jesse Owens went on to dominate the Olympics and won 4 gold medals in various events. This provided a stage of his company, and various other athletes and trainers went on to buy the shoes. Business was booming, and they went to sell more than 200,000 pairs of shoes a year before World War II. Before we move on to the rest of the story, you need to know the extremely controversial fact, one that might change a few of your mind about Adidas. Both the Dassler brothers were integral and reasonably influential members of the Nazi party. They had high ranks in the party and were running the last shoe factory in Germany, and they produced shoes for the usage of the entire unified forces of Germany to most of the war efforts. In 1943, the factory was forced to shut down. Operations and facilities were used to keep tanks, weapons. The American forces had almost destroyed the shoe factory but did not completely raze the place on the request of Adolf's wife, who managed to convince them that it was just a shoe factory. Ironically, the American forces became a major buyers of the Dassler brothers' shoes. After the Nazis went out of power throughout the Second World War, the brothers had many problems with each other. Finally, once the war had ended, Rudolf Dassler started his own company called Ruder, which was later rebranded as Puma. Adolf also renamed his company as Adidas, Adi from Adolf and Dassler from both of these companies operated from the same city of Herzogenbuch, and the entire city was divided on this matter, and both of these companies have become the identity of the city entirely with the nickname the City of Bent Necks. referring to the fact that people who look down to see which company's shoes the other person was wearing. The rivalry within the city went so deep that the two football clubs in the city were divided in two, with one of them sporting Adidas clothing and footwear and the other club sporting Puma merchandise. Moving on to probably one of the highlights of Adidas's history. One event that has defined the company ever since their trademark over the ironic three white stripes. The trademark was initially owned by a Finnish company called Kahu Sports. Now a brief history about Kahu. This company was set up in the 1920s, specialized in a manufacture of discuses and javelins, which later extended to footwear. After World War II, Kahu was undergoing a major financial distress and thus agreed to sell the trademark to then a little-known German company called Adidas for £600, and very interestingly, 2 bottles of whiskey back then in 1952. In 1954 FIFA World Cup, the West German team beat the extremely dominant Hungarian team with the help of the revolutionary Adidas product, the invented screws in boots, in which the light-weighted football boots was used to screw in further lightweight rubber stones. This made the boot almost half weight of the traditional English football shoe. This victory by the German team made Adidas a household name in German and all across football circles throughout the world. Adolf Dassler died in 1978. Adidas hit a little slump with respect to sales profit when compared to other companies like Nike and fellow German brand Puma. After a brief period of leadership by his wife, Kapi Dassler, and his son, Horst Dassler, took over the reins of the company and tried to turn things around. On assuming control, Horst was immediately faced with challenges of increasing competition from shoe where Nike Incorporated was eroding Adidas's market share in the United States and Japan, and Puma SE, a company founded by Horst's uncle after dispute with his father, had increased its sales of athletic footwear by 35% the previous year. Horst responded to the challenge by installing a professional management team at company headquarters to repress family members. In the United States, where Adidas sales had slipped to 1/3 of Nike's whole, Horst attempted to diversify their distribution channels and responded to a shift in customer demand and athletic to casual footwear, the shift that Adidas had failed to satisfy. After the premature death of Horst Dassler, the company was taken over by French business tycoon Bernard Tapie, thus ending the family administration over the company. Bernard was famous for taking companies from the brink of bankruptcy in an expertise on which he built his fortune. Bernard took production offshore and shifted his focus outside Europe. He hired Madonna for promotion of the brand in 1992. Bernard Tapie, unable to pay the interest from the loan he took to buy the company, assigned the bank to sell the company. Robert Louis, the new CEO, made an almost impossible job seem extremely possible together with his partner, Christian Touré. He understood the financial challenged Adidas did not need to be reinvented. Its supply needed a new direction. He turned the sleeping giant from a sales to a market-driven company and steered Adidas back on the growth plane. In 1995, 6 years after becoming corporation, Adidas went public, and its new marketing slogan could not sum it up. We knew then, we know now. While the company was still dealing with financial challenges, a new marketing team refocused Adidas on what it has been known for years. Athletes better some of the most famous Adidas innovations such as the Tourism 1989, the Equipment Concept 1991, the Streetball Campaign 1992, and the Predator Football Boot 1994 were born in this era. Robert Rui was also the chairman of the football club Olympique de Marseille, and Adidas sponsored their kits and training gear for the extended period of time. Thereafter, this provides a move to my most favorable topic about football. Now, Adidas had a long history with football right from the initial times of Hagensenbrück Football Club, right from 1940s. This emphasis of the long period of football association for the company. Their was most famous association with football is evident in their partnership with FIFA and especially the FIFA World Cup. This first began when host Dassler approached the then president chairman, who believed that the association was not maximizing profits to World Cup. Host convinced the chairman to obtain corporate sponsorship for not just the World Cup but all other FIFA events. Coca-Cola came abroad to sponsor the World Cup, and up till now, Adidas provide the official ball of the World Cup and is a kit sponsor for the all FIFA referee kits. Adidas also holds a 9% share in the German club Bayern Munich, which they acquired in 2002 for price of 77 million euros. However, this surge with Bayern Munich goes back many years when Adidas started sponsoring the kits for them in 1974. Almost fittingly, Puma owns a 5% stake in Borussia Dortmund, a bitter rivals of Bayern Munich, and also has a long-term sponsorship deal with them. Fast forward in 2001, Herbert Heiner took over the reins from Robert Grusfeld, who had a very successful spell at Adidas. Heiner brought about a lot of change, providing enough focus towards Adidas clothing, to which many popular fashion figures here headed this wing for the company. Adidas became the first in the industry to introduce a new lifestyle segment, focusing on sports-inspired streetwear in the years to come. New partnership with Georgie Yamamoto in 2002 and Stella McCarthy in 2004 was born. Additionally, Heiner brought about several iconic marketing and advertising campaigns featuring the world's most famous sports sensations. In one of its most memorable marketing campaigns, Adidas let biggest athletes, including David Beckham and Muhammad Ali, face their fears, defeat, and challenges, only to prove that indeed impossible is nothing. The slogan became the synonym for reaching one's goals. And that said, let's sum it up and look at exactly different strategies. It sustained the global strategy by collaborating with major fashions, as we saw from the video, Gucci, Yeezy, and also sponsoring world events, big mega events, for example, the FIFA World Cup, Olympics, also partnerships with big athletes, big clubs, and also patches of collaborations with other brands. And then its globalization strategy was successful through adapting products to the local markets. For example, the national team jerseys, modest wear for the Muslim countries, and also products focused on cities. Adidas also remained deeply connected to its German roots by investing global success and national jobs, football heritage, innovation, and expertise. Me, I think leading women's sports market, which is growing, also winning emerging markets, building a full athlete pipeline, increasing local speed, using sustainability as a performance advantage. I think Adidas will maintain its brand on top of all the other brands. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to comment, to share your comments from your key takeaway from this presentation. Thank you.